जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन। यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन। यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन। यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन। यमुना तीर वनचारी। यमुना तीर वनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन। यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन। यमुना तीर हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे। राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna. We're all very honored to have His Holiness Stoka Krishna Maharaj, who is here with us today to enlighten us. Stoka Krishna Maharaj is a very senior devotee of our movement. He is a member of the Governing Body Commission. He is also the president of our Mysore Temple and the Dean of Vaishnava Studies for our movement. So we're all very blessed to have an opportunity to listen to him today. Hare Krishna.
Which is the verse? Verse. Okay. Okay. Till how long? 12:45. After 12:45. Chanting. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamunatiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Krishna Balaram Krishna Balaram Krishna Balaram Jaya Krishna Balaram Jaya Gauranitai 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 Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha Jaya Anantare Lakshmi Narasimha Jaya Anantare Jaya Srinivas Govinda Jaya Srinivas Govinda Srinivas Govinda Jaya Srinivas Govinda Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajakaacharya Stottar Shata Shri Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai ISKCON Samsthapakacharya Savior of the whole world Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Srimad Bhagavat Gita Ki Jai Nitai Gaur Premanande Haribol Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langhayate girim Yat kripatamaham vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Yat kripatamaham vande Paramananda Madhavam Yat kripatamaham vande Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindubhya evacha Patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Chapter 2, contents of the Gita summarized, text number 21. Kindly repeat after me. Veda avinashinam nityam Veda avinashinam nityam Yaha enam ajam avyayam Ya enam ajam avyayam katham saha purushaha partha katham sa purusha partha kam ghatayati hanti kam ghatayati hanti kam. The translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation: O Partha, how can a person who knows the soul is indestructible, unborn, eternal and immutable kill anyone or cause anyone to kill? Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Everything has its proper utility, and a man who is situated in complete knowledge knows how and where to apply a thing for its proper utility. Similarly, violence also has its utility, and how to apply violence rests with the person in knowledge. Although the justice of the peace awards capital punishment to a person condemned for murder, the justice of the peace cannot be blamed because he orders violence to another person according to the courts of justice. In Manu Samhita, the law book for mankind, it is supported that a murderer should be condemned to death so that in his next life he will not have to suffer for the great sin he has committed. Therefore, the king's punishment of hanging a murderer is actually beneficial. Similarly, when Krishna orders fighting, it must be concluded that violence is for supreme justice, and as such, Arjuna should follow the instruction, knowing well that such violence committed in the act of fighting for Krishna is not violence at all, because at any rate, the man, or rather the soul, cannot be killed. So, for the administration of justice, so-called violence is permitted. A surgical operation is not meant to kill the patient, but to cure him. Therefore, the fighting to be executed by Arjuna at the instruction of Krishna is with full knowledge, so there is no possibility of sinful reaction. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. So this is the second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, and this section of the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna describes we are spirit soul, we are not the body. He is describing the wonderful qualities of spirit. It is completely different than the qualities of the body. Body is made up of matter. Matter is destructible. We have experience. Nothing material stays forever, including our own body, which is material, a matter. It will not stay forever. It deteriorates, and one day it's going to perish. But the spirit soul, the real you, the real person inside the body, is indestructible. Veda avinashinam. Indestructible. The soul is indestructible. A person is indestructible. Nityam. Nityam means eternal, always existing. Ajam. Ajam means unborn. The soul is not taking birth. It's the body which is born. Body which is born. Body is, we know, in the mother's womb, the body is developed. And even after coming out of the mother's womb, the body develops up to a certain age and then remains for some time and then starts deteriorating. Everything material has got these 6 changes. It comes into existence, then it develops, then it stays for some time, produces some byproducts, and then dwindles and vanishes. So, these 6 changes, Shad Vikara, apply only to the body, doesn't apply to the soul. Ajam. Avyayam. Avyayam means immutable, cannot be changed, cannot be in any way mutated. So, indestructible, immutable, and unborn, and always existing, eternal. one who knows this, how can such a person kill anyone or cause anyone to kill? So killing applies only to the body, but that does not justify unnecessary violence. Unnecessary violence is not justified. So Srila Prabhupada explains in the purport, to understand this properly, we have to know that to act in knowledge is different than acting in ignorance. So this is being particularly said here. A person who is situated in knowledge, Veda, here Veda means one who is situated in knowledge, that every living being is spirit soul. The soul is living, not the body. The body appears to be living as long as the soul is in the body. We know what happens at death. The soul leaves the body and then the body is a dead body. It's not that death is because they say sometimes organ failure. In medical terms, they say organ failure. So, they say organ failure for somebody who's admitted to hospital. What about a healthy person suddenly collapses and dies? They say natural death. What is a natural death? There is nothing like natural death. It is just the soul, the real you. When your lifespan has exhausted, you leave the body. Tatha dehantara praptihi. The Bhagavad Gita clearly is explained, death means change of body. We have to quit this body and we have to enter another body. And we know birth means the soul enters the mother's womb and then the body begins to develop. If the soul does not enter, then there is no question of conception. The soul has to enter. And sometimes we know there is the death of the child within the womb itself. So what is that death? That is, the soul leaves the body. So in all cases, whatever be the cause of death, it's always death means the soul leaves the body. This understanding is very, very, very important. Why is it important? Because then, first thing, the fear of death immediately can be dispelled. No more fear of death. If you know, I don't die. When death comes, I have to leave the body. And why leaving the body when death comes? Because the body is no longer a suitable place of residence for me. We leave the body when the body is no longer inhabitable. Just like we are staying in one house or apartment, as long as the apartment is in good shape or good condition, we live there. But if the apartment becomes dilapidated or it is no longer repairable, then we have to leave that apartment. We need a new apartment, or we have to leave that apartment, to quit that apartment. Similarly, this body also, we know it deteriorates with time. And when it cannot be anymore maintained, then we have to leave the body. And leaving the body means we are going to get a new body. Vasamsi jirnani yatha vihaya. That's the next verse. So Krishna also says, jirnani, when your dress you're wearing, it wears out. Then you discard that and take a new dress. Exactly like that, when this body becomes old and worn out. Now, old doesn't mean in terms of age only. Old also means the body has become worn out. Externally, it may not be visible to be worn out. But internally, something is no longer working, no longer functioning. So then the body cannot be anymore a place of residence. So we have to leave the body. What happens? Then we get another body. Jatasya hi dhruvo mrityuhu dhruvam janma mritasya cha. For one who's taken birth, death is certain. And for one who dies, birth is certain. So as long as we are in this world, we require this material body for our material life, material existence. But we are different from the body. We are different from the body. So this fundamental understanding is the beginning of spiritual knowledge. Spiritual, the word spiritual comes from the word spirit. And spirit means it is who we are. Quality. Quality of spirit is ajam, avyayam, avinashinam. Spirit soul cannot be destroyed even by any kind of weapons, any kind of weapon. It cannot be destroyed, not possible. So this quality of spirit is completely different from that of body, different from matter. And also, here it is said that just like in the scriptures, Manu Samhita, it is said that a murderer should be punished by giving a death sentence. That is because, according to the laws of karma, I have no right to kill anybody. I have no right to kill anybody. But if I do so, then I should be punished by capital punishment. So that if it is not punished that way, what happens? He is going to suffer in the future for having committed this crime. He is going to suffer in the future. Better he is given the punishment in this very life when he will understand that this is the right punishment for his having killed somebody else. Many times when we get some suffering, all suffering is due to our own past sinful activities. And if we do not know what is the sinful activity I have committed, that does not mean that I will not suffer. So it is better that a person suffers the punishment for the sinful activity he or she commits immediately after the sinful activity is performed than suffering for it in a later life or at a later stage. There are many instances in the scriptures where this is illustrated very nicely. So there was one saintly person. He had retired from his grahastha life, family life, and he was sitting in a nice cottage he had prepared for his spiritual life, spiritual activities, meditation. He was living in a cottage in a forest, and one day suddenly some thieves who were escaping after having committed a burglary, and the police is after them. And these thieves came running, escaping the police. They came to the forest, they saw this cottage. They suddenly went inside the cottage and were hiding in the cottage. So the police came searching. Somehow one of them chanced to enter the cottage. They saw the thieves, and foolishly these police constables, they arrested the thieves along with the sage. So they thought somehow that they were chasing, and they thought that these thieves had taken shelter of that sage, a saintly person, because he is their leader. So they arrested, and then all of them were taken to the king. So the king saw the thieves. Okay, they look like thieves, but what about this saintly person? Why is he also brought before me? So he inquired. So the saintly person told, I don't know anything about this thieves. I was just sitting and doing a meditation, and these thieves, they came into my ashram, and after that the police is coming and arresting all of us. What is this going on? Then the king realized, oh, some mistake has happened. I'm very sorry. So he was released and he went away. Later on, he questioned Yamaraj, why was I insulted like this? What wrong have I done? I have led a pious life, and I was also very conscientious not to do any sinful activities. I don't remember having done anything so sinful that I should be arrested for some crime of stealing wrongly, that too. So what is the reason? So Yamaraj said, okay, when you grew up, you were very, very conscientious, and you were very, pious person. You were very careful not to commit any sin. But when you were a child, you were playing, then you pierced an ant inside a hole, and that actually hurt the ant. And therefore, for that you are given a token punishment. You didn't suffer. Actually, the king was supposed to, pierce with his lance and punish these criminals never to again commit that burglary. Pierce their hands like that with the trident or the spear. So you did that, therefore you had to suffer just by being taken to the king, accused for something, but you never suffered that anyway because you're taken to spiritual life. So you just had to suffer some token punishment because as a child you did that, therefore token punishment. So then this sage, he got very angry at Yamaraj. This is totally unfair. This is totally unfair. As a child I did something, I didn't even have consciousness of what is wrong and what is right. And you're punishing me for having done some small mistake when I was a child. So I curse you to take birth in a Shudra family. So that curse resulted in Yamaraj taking birth as Vidura. But the lesson is that we are never excused for any sinful activities we perform, you see, even unknowingly. That's the way the laws of karma work. Knowingly or unknowingly, intentionally or unintentionally, if we do sinful activities, we are punishable. We are punishable. Though the extent of the punishment varies according to so many other factors, still the punishment is definitely there. The laws are very stringent. So therefore, sinful activities are to be avoided at all costs. Now, living in this material world, scriptures say it is difficult to avoid certain sinful activities being committed unintentionally, unknowingly. Just like I'm walking on the street, some ants may be crawling. I step on the ants. For me, just stepping on the ants by accident, I'll just walk away. But for the ant, it is crushing it to death. Crushing it to death. It's so being so cruel to the ants, no? So, in the laws of the Shastra, whether I kill an ant or I kill a human being, it is actually killing. Though the extent of punishment is not the same. Killing a human being is very, very serious. Killing an ant is a very small sin. But still, I have to suffer the punishment due to me, due to killing the ants. So therefore, Shastra says that life in this material world is a bad bargain. While we are using fire for cooking, accidentally, before you light the fire, let us say nowadays we have this gas stove. Before we light it, some insect is sitting on that gas stove. The burner of the gas stove. You light it, you don't even notice the insect. It is so small, you can't even see it. You take your lighter and just spark and turn the knob. Immediately the flame comes, the insect is trapped and it burns and it dies. So we are responsible. Now it's something which is unavoidable. I didn't even see it. I never had any intention of killing the poor insect. Then what do I do? So therefore, Shastra says, even unintentionally, unknowingly, unavoidably, I do commit sins. So life in this material world means sin cannot be totally avoided. Therefore, there is a need for some system of atonement for sins we have committed unknowingly, unavoidably. Therefore, compulsorily everybody has to take to spiritual life, at least for avoiding suffering or suffering the punishment for those sins which we don't want to unavoidably, unintentionally, unknowingly we commit. We're using the grinding stone. Of course, nowadays you have a mixie. Now you put something inside and crush it and nicely make a paste out of it. If some small insect or something is trapped there, it is also getting crushed completely. It's crushed to death. So like this, so many instances are there. So we have to take to spiritual life. Now, what is the only way we can atone for these type of sinful activities? Only by taking shelter of the Supreme Lord, Krishna, by submitting to Him. He will excuse us for all our sinful activities we might have performed anyhow. Krishna says, Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma shuchaha. You don't worry. Even if you try to avoid sinful activities, which we should, as conscientious human beings, we should avoid sinful activities where we can avoid. But even if you try to avoid where unavoidably you have done some sin, don't worry, I will free you from all sinful reactions. Aham tvam sarva papebhya mokshayishyam. So we have to surrender to Krishna, we have to submit to Him, take shelter of Krishna only. Mam ekam sharanam vraja. Because nobody else has the authority or the power to nullify our sinful reactions which we commit some or the other. No devata, no tapasvi, no jnani, no yogi, nobody else can pardon us except Krishna. It's like even if somebody is condemned to death, there is something, even in a state law, there's something called a presidential pardon. You're aware of this. So just like that, where is that coming from? It is coming from this verse of the Bhagavad Gita. That Krishna is willing to pardon, provided we say, now onwards, I won't commit any more sin, or now onwards, I'll be completely dedicated to your devotional service. Kindly excuse me. Yes, you are excused. Krishna will say, I'll pardon you. So, therefore, the scriptures advise us that having taken this human form of life, you understand that all suffering is only due to my own sinful activities. That's the first point. The next point is, I should give up sinful life. That is the second point. Third point is, in spite of my trying to avoid sinful activities, there are certain sins which I keep committing unknowingly, unavoidably, unintentionally. And what to do for that? You have to submit to Krishna, surrender to Krishna. Therefore, everyone should take to devotional service. In the Bhagavad Gita, at the end, Krishna says, Man mana bhavamad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. You follow these four things, very, very simple. And this instruction of Krishna in the end of the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, is my topmost instruction. Sarva guhyatamam bhuyaha shrunume paramam vachaha. Guhyatamam, the most confidential instruction. And paramam vachaha, it's my topmost instruction, because Krishna has given many instructions in the Bhagavad Gita. So among all the instructions, this one verse, Krishna says, my topmost instruction. What is that? Man mana, always think of me. How do you think of Krishna always? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu teaches us to think of Krishna always. You always chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Then he says, Bhavamad Bhakto, become my devotee. Devotee means one who is dedicated his or her life for Krishna. For Krishna means for devotional service to Krishna. Madhyaji, worship me. Everyone should worship Krishna. Worshipping Krishna is very simple. How do we worship Krishna? Patram pushpam phalam toyam yome bhaktya prayachati. We offer Krishna. Krishna means the deity of Krishna or a picture of the deity of Krishna. We offer if patram, one leaf, pushpam, one flower, phalam, a fruit, toyam, a little water. So making this devotional offering. Now this also, Krishna is asking, you make an offering very, very simple. You see, he does not even demand. See, in the case of worship of devatas, Ganesha you have to offer something 21 numbers. Shiva to offer 5 numbers. And also each devata, there is a specific offering you have to make. Ganesha you have to offer what is called as Durva. Shiva you have to offer Bilva Patra, not any leaf. Krishna, he does not specify which leaf. Any leaf you can offer. He says patram, he doesn't say which patram. Pushpam, and that also he says one. Patram in Sanskrit means one leaf. Sanskrit grammar is like that. Patram means one leaf. Pushpam or one flower. Any flower you can offer to Krishna. Krishna is also famous as Vanamali. he who wears a garland of forest flowers. Forest, all kinds of flowers grow. Not only some fragrant flowers, some nice flowers, any flower. So, those who are in the forest, formerly there was no marketplace where some commercially people who grow flowers will come and sell, and those who want to offer to Krishna will buy those flowers and offer. Nothing like that. There was no market. So you go, either you grow some flowers in your house, kitchen garden, or somewhere you go and pluck some flowers where it's available and you just offer to Krishna. But for Devatas, you cannot do that. Any flower you can offer, no. But for Krishna, any flower you can offer. One flower. Or one fruit. Or any of those are not available. Everywhere water is available. Little water. Little water. Offer little water to Krishna. Every day we drink water. So before drinking, you offer to Krishna. Please accept this offering. So Krishna is so kind. So this offering is called worship of Krishna. Offering to Krishna is called worship of Krishna. Madhyaji mam namaskuru. Bow down to Krishna. We have to bow down. We have to submit, we have to surrender. If we don't submit to Krishna, we have to submit to so many other material authorities. Material world is like that. Nobody can say, I'll not bow down to anybody. You have to bow down. But if you bow down to Krishna voluntarily, Krishna doesn't force you. But you voluntarily bow down to Krishna, then you are freed from all sinful reactions. You are completely protected by Krishna. Completely protected by Krishna. That's the perfection of your life. So I'll stop here. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. So now we're going to have some question answer. Okay. Anybody has any questions? Yes. Can you give them some mic? Yeah.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. In chapter 2, text number 22, Prabhupada ji mentions in the first line of the purport that change of body by the atomic individual soul is an accepted fact. So does this imply that if a soul were to exist, it would definitely need a body?
Body is not a necessity if we are not in material existence. Material existence means you require a body, yes. We are spirit soul. Spirit soul means spiritual body. Spiritual body is not different from the person's, the soul. Soul means spiritual form, spiritual body. But this material body is a separate thing, apart from the spirit, apart from the real you or real I. So material body is fabricated, and material body has no personality actually. The personality is of the soul. So body is simply a covering for the spirit soul. And the body is a necessity because of our material needs. Because of material demands, material needs. Why material needs? Because we want to enjoy materially. Because we want to enjoy materially. And the varieties of bodies are meant for accommodating varieties of enjoyment. This is another secret that is revealed in the scriptures. Why there are 84 lakh different species of life. According to Shastra, 84 lakh species of life. Each of the species of life accommodate different varieties of material desires being satisfied. Like we know, some people, they want to swim in the water. And they go for swimming competition and they try to be in the water for very long hours. Why you? human form, you're wasting your time like this, swimming, swimming, swimming. You take a body of a fish. You always be in water. You enjoy being in water. And swimming is not required for a fish. Even without swimming, it can be there in the water. It can breathe in the water. Even underneath the water also it can breathe. Whereas when we go swimming, for breathing we have to keep coming to the surface. Unless we're in a submarine where there is oxygen tank, all that arrangement is required. Fishes don't require any of those arrangement. So the fish's body is meant for living in water. In fact, the fish cannot live on the land. Somebody wants to fly like a bird. So they have all these, those equipment in which they go flying. Huh? So this is all waste of time. So then if somebody is so intent on flying, you take the body of a bird. Go fly. So like this, the different bodies are there for because our material enjoyment propensity. Because we do not know what is spiritual pleasure. We think the only pleasure that is available for us is material pleasure. But Shastras are informing there is higher pleasure. Bhagavad Gita says, Yehi samsparshaja bhoga dukkhayonaya evate adyantavanta kaunteya nateshu ramate buddhaha. One who is intelligent understands that all material pleasure is simply due to the contact of the senses with the sense objects. And such pleasures have always got a beginning and an end. And they are the source of all miseries in this material existence. So give up this business of seeking material pleasure. Instead, try to taste what is spiritual pleasure. That is also described in the Bhagavad Gita. Sukham matyantikam yattad buddhigrahyam atindriyam. First of all, spiritual pleasure is not due to sense contact. It is due to devotional service we perform for pleasure of Krishna. That is spiritual happiness. This is the pleasure of chanting Hare Krishna. Now we do not know, before we get practiced, what is the pleasure of chanting Hare Krishna. You study from the scriptures and understand chanting Hare Krishna, there are stages of different levels of chanting Hare Krishna. In the beginning, we may just chant, and we chant because it helps us to advance spiritually. Okay, with some faith we chant. But as your heart is getting cleansed, the chanting becomes very, very attractive. And there is some attraction. How can devotees keep chanting every day so many times? You see? And Prabhupada gives a challenge that it's not simply mechanically vibrating some words. You try simply vibrating your tongue and saying, Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola. How long can you do it? It's impossible to continue to do day after day, week after week, month after month, so many fixed number of times. Impossible. Nobody can do it. It's impossible. Whereas Hare Krishna, if it were an ordinary sound vibration like Coca-Cola, you couldn't have chanted the way devotees chant. So the very fact that devotees are chanting every day so many times and doing it very, very nicely, as time progresses, we do it even more nicely. We take pleasure in doing it. Then that pleasure increases. That's the nature of spiritual pleasure. Ever increasing. No other material activity, even if it is pleasurable, somebody says, you cannot sustain that pleasure by repeatedly doing something. You cannot. Any game you take, for some time, many times you can keep playing. After that, you have to change. You require something else for entertaining you. Whereas chanting we keep doing day in and day out. And it becomes even more relishable. And Shastras say there's a stage of chanting where we experience ecstasy. Ecstasy is extreme joy. So much so the body cannot contain the joy. So there'll be tears from the eyes, there'll be trembling of the body, there'll be hair standing on end, there'll be choking up of the voice, all in extreme joy. Extreme joy. That is unknown to people. That Shastras declare that. So, pure devotees, they exhibit this sometimes. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu exhibited this. What is the ecstasy of chanting Hare Krishna? And then, beyond ecstasy, there is prema, love of God. And love of God is the highest relishable pleasure. You see? Love of God, love of Krishna. So you have to read the Shastras to know about this, hear about this. So that is spiritual pleasure. Spiritual pleasure. So like that, there are varieties of spiritual pleasure. It's not just only chanting Hare Krishna. Spiritual activities, there are many varieties of activities. Unlimited varieties. So spiritual life is something else other than what generally people know about. They know very little and they have many misconceptions. But Prabhupada and the scriptures give us accurate knowledge of what is spiritual life, how to practice it, how you can experience spiritual pleasure by performing spiritual activities. You have to learn that. Little training, little knowledge, little practice, you can easily do it. It's not difficult. You ready?
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Maharaj, for your wonderful enlightened session. So now in a few moments we are going to have distribution of prizes for something very significant that we had done over the last 2 months or so. This is a worldwide, what we call book marathon, distributing Srila Prabhupada's books, particularly Bhagavad Gita, Krishna book and other books including Bhagavatams and so on and so forth. So the worldwide Hare Krishna movement temples, we had a marathon. Every temple distributed with a lot of enthusiasm and with the spirit of serving Srila Prabhupada and distributing this transcendental knowledge. So our temple also took a goal to beat the previous year goal to distribute at least 2,500 books for a temple of our size, which is quite significant. So I'm happy to report that we have exceeded that goal and met with flying colors. And so I also, on this occasion, I also request Maharaj to speak a few words about the importance of book distribution before we announce the prize winners.
Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, his most significant contribution is the books. Because in Prabhupada's books, the philosophy of Krishna consciousness is explained in a very simple way. And systematically and very, very nicely, Prabhupada has explained everything in Krishna consciousness. So somebody can begin with reading a very small book, Krishna, the Reservoir of Pleasure. It's a very small booklet. Early days, Prabhupada wrote that. And devotees were just printing just like a mimeograph machine. Earlier, there was no facility for printing like a proper booklet. So they would just go and distribute that on the streets. Beginning with that, later on, Prabhupada started publishing books very nicely, very neatly, with paintings, illustrations, and big books, Bhagavad Gita, Krishna book, the 10th canto of the Bhagavatam. Like that, so many books. And Prabhupada wrote these books. Middle of the night he would get up, because throughout the day he is busy organizing a worldwide Krishna consciousness movement. So he is directing his disciples, answering letters, he is giving discourses, he is traveling. In spite of his extremely busy schedule, wherever he was, middle of the night he'll get up, 12 midnight till 4 a.m. he will write the books. Like that he wrote 70 volumes of books in just 11 years. And he encouraged his disciples to distribute these books. That is basically giving people transcendental knowledge, spiritual knowledge. You see? So people read so many books or so many magazines or so many different things for different purposes. But if they read even a little what is there in the books Srila Prabhupada has written. And these books, Prabhupada has written in English, of course, but Prabhupada also requested his disciples to translate these into different languages. Today, Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita has been translated into over 74 languages or more. And everywhere in the world, devotees of that particular country or that particular state, they are distributing or sharing this knowledge. So, Prabhupada requested, people are suffering in ignorance. That's a fact. People don't know that their suffering is simply caused by their ignorance of Krishna, Krishna consciousness. Simply by taking to Krishna consciousness, gradually all their suffering will come to an end. And very soon they'll be able to experience spiritual pleasure, which is unconditional, unlimited, very, very pleasing to the heart and the soul. Spiritual pleasure means something that is deep within. We are seeking that pleasure, but we do not know we are looking for that. And therefore, material pleasures will always be not so satisfying, not giving us as much happiness as we want. See, the craving of the soul. Spiritual happiness is the need of the soul. So therefore, Prabhupada said, distribute these books. So devotees, of course, Prabhupada in the beginning, when he came to this country, USA, he was all alone. So he would place the books, he had published some books in India, he would place those books in bookstores in New York. But not many books would be sold. Some books would be sold, and he was maintaining himself that way. But later on he told devotees, you go out and approach people, explain to them and urge them to take one small book at least and read and try to understand, apply and benefit. So devotees would go out and distribute books regularly. So it's not book, we don't call it book sales, even though actually they are giving a book and asking for a donation because it costs to print the books. Okay, so they're asking for a donation, but still they are going and urging people to read the books, take the books, read the books and benefit from the knowledge by applying that knowledge in their daily life. So many people started benefiting from that. Devotees would go out, distribute the books. And the books themselves would actually reach so many different hands and people would become devotees. They would start practicing. They would start asking questions. They would start visiting centers or they would start writing letters. So many wonderful things happen. So devotees also go and distribute books. And particularly during this Christmas season where at least in the United States of America, people want to buy a gift and give to so many of their friends, relatives, whoever. So devotees will go and offer this book. Why don't you take this book and give it as a gift? the best gift somebody can give, because it's going to transform people's life. It's going to enlighten them. So book distribution was particularly stressed during Christmas time. It is called Christmas Marathon. And in India, another interesting thing happens. In December, we generally have the Gita Jayanti, the day on which Bhagavad Gita was spoken by Krishna. Generally it comes in December or January. So we have 2 months of this book distribution marathon where devotees will go out and distribute books as many hours as possible, and as many people as possible, and as many books as possible. So even Milpita's devotees, they have organized this book distribution, and now we can hear the wonderful results of this. So urge all of you to also yourself take a book and read, and also give out this book to your friends, relatives, neighbors, or anybody who you think can actually read it and benefit. Anybody who takes this book and reads, they will definitely become spiritually benefited. So that's the request. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Maharaj. So I'd like to draw your attention to the screen where we have devotees have made the presentation. So as you can see, the comparison between 2023 and of course this is 2025, but the marathon started in 2024 itself. So that's the dark blue color statistics. You can see the year over year increment. The number of families participated, it improved from 26 to 40 families. And the number of books distributed, it increased from 2,213 to 2,771. And the Lakshmi collected, it increased from $29,080 to $33,697. So, as you can see how this is, as Prabhupada called it, the greatest welfare activity for all the people of this world, to get this transcendental knowledge through these books. And as I said, this is a global competition in which different temples are classified in different sizes. So our temple is categorized as Maha Small based on the number of full-time devotees serving. And we are proud to report, humbly submit this offering to Srila Prabhupada, that we stand first in Maha Small Temples category. Hari Bol! So as you can see, the different temples in that category, if you cannot read, I'll read it. There is Hare Krishna Movement Coimbatore, there is Johor, Milpitas, which is ours, there is New York, New Jersey, Boston, HKM, Dehradun, Pune, Madhya Pradesh, Surat, Baroda, Hindupur. And so, as you can see, our number of books, small books, medium books, big books, Maha big books, full sets, all of that grand total, we have distributed totally 5,685 in terms of book points. So this is what Srila Prabhupada said. If you distribute my books until your dying day, Lord Chaitanya will personally come and take you back home, back to Godhead. That is how immense blessing we have in distributing these books. And now I'd like to request Maharaj to hand over these prizes. So Maharaj, if you can please stand up and hand over the prizes on the stage. We'll call these prize winners. So one thing with these, all these families, as you know, this December and January months, which are the 2 months for marathon, it's quite the chilliest months of the year. And when I saw these posts and pictures being posted in these WhatsApp groups, how the children are all, including the children, they were all going out fully wearing these winter clothes and daring the outside weather, stopping people and giving. It was quite an inspiration. So not just these 5 families, but everybody, whatever amount of books they distributed, sincerely they served for the cause of Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada will be very happy with you all. But because we have to recognize some families as top families, we have to do this. But otherwise, everybody has served to the best of their ability. Thank you so much. And now I'll request Premarasa Prabhu, our book distribution lead, for very nicely coordinating this whole effort and inspiring with nice messages and pushing them constantly and with scores and keeping them on their toes with the competition. A round of applause for Premarasa Prabhu. He himself has distributed a lot of books, and humbly, I don't know if he even showed his name here, but I have seen he is going out every day in the evening and distributing books. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, everyone. A big round of applause to all the devotees. In spite of very challenging situations, they went out to distribute these wonderful books. In spite of different family challenges, health concerns, health issues, work challenges, so many different challenges. Most of the devotees who have been the toppers of this book distribution, they made sure that they went out in the very, very cold environment from the past 2 months to distribute these books. So big round of applause to all the wonderful devotees. So we will be giving the prizes in the reverse order. The consolation prize, the 6th prize goes to Padmakshi Mataji and family. The 5th prize, Devyani Mataji and family with 96 books. Mask. The 4th place goes to Swati Musunuri Mataji and family. Yeah, the family has distributed 143 books. The 3rd place goes to Dharmaraj Prabhu. He distributed 197 books. Second place, Swarad Govinda Prabhu and family, 236 books. And the first place goes to Lala Savigra Prabhu and family, 370 books. Haribol. Just to let you know that they have built an army in Mountain View, Sankirtan warriors. Mountain House. They have distributed 370 books, and they have been going to book distribution almost every day, every weekend. Now we will be heading to the top 5 folk hits. Compared to last year, there were like around 10 kids who actively participated in book marathon. And this time we had 35 kids from folk who participated actively for book marathon. That's like 250 times percent more than the previous year. Many kids were very, very inspiring. They sacrificed their playtime, and they were in fact pushing their parents to take them out for book distribution. Very, very inspiring. The fifth, we are going to announce the top winners for the 4 kids. The fifth in the reverse order. The 5th prize goes to Bala Gita Prakashak Award, Sharan Teja, who has distributed 15 books. The 4th place to Krishna. He has distributed 17 books. Third place goes to Tharan, distributed 37 books. Second place, Abhiram, 72 books. Different. And the first place goes to Pujit, 100 books.
So thank you all. I hope that inspires all of you. Please, you're all welcome to participate. It's a very pleasurable activity, sharing this knowledge. It gives transcendental bliss. So next year we hope to have more of you enrolled in this. Thank you so much. Thank you, Maharaj, for encouraging us. Hare Krishna.
And then Hare Krishna. While Arthi is going. 15, 20 minutes.
Hare Krishna, as you can see, we are also celebrating all the children's birthdays in the month of January and February. So all the names mentioned here, all of the families, they can come forward to the front and do the Sankalpa Puja. The Pujari will do Sankalpa for you. So all the kids mentioned here who are celebrating their birthday in the month of January, please, the families, you can come forward and we'll do Sankalpa for you. And also these kids celebrating in the month of February, you can also come all the way, the families, to the front, and Sankalpa will be done for you. And the children can also collect cupcakes from the gift shop. So it's free for them. All the children who are celebrating their birthdays in the month of January and February, please make sure you get